football.
Reese Davis, thank you very much. ESPN College Football presented by Tyson Brand. A part of Fairfield by Marriott Rivalry Week. On a sunsplash Saturday afternoon, welcome to Death Valley, South Carolina for one of the most underrated rivalries in college football. 15th ranked South Carolina, 12th ranked Clemson, in the stakes on this Saturday afternoon, simply put, could not be much higher. There's swag surfing in Death Valley, and the percentages, the odds tell the story. A win by Clemson this afternoon in front of the home crowd, of 59% to punch their ticket to the new 12-team college football playoff. For South Carolina, the Gamecocks are in the mix as well. Thanks to a 5-game winning streak, they have a shot to make the dance. Alongside of Sam Acho, I'm Roy Philpott. Taylor Davis joins us on the sideline in just 1 minute. Sam, you played in one of the biggest rivalries in all of college football, Texas and A&M. We'll see them later tonight. What is it like in this moment?
There's so much passion, energy, and excitement, but on the field, there needs to be a sense of calm, discipline, and composure. That's what needs to happen for either team if they want to win.
Well, I'll tell you who's been calm and composed. It's Lenora Sellers, a 5-game winning streak for South Carolina. Coming into this rivalry matchup, he's been on a heater and unbeatable since mid-October.
And he's been a big reason why this South Carolina team has been on this 5-game winning streak. When he's supposed to be sacked, he isn't. When he's supposed to be taken down, he's not. He finds ways to extend plays and get the ball into the end zone. 15
touchdowns accounted for in these last 5 games. The Gamecocks getting it done, and for Clemson's Cade Klubnik, he has been a different quarterback this campaign.
It's been night and day. 29 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, nearly 3,000 passing yards. And oh, by the way, he can do it with his legs as well. Cade Klubnik went through adversity last year at Clemson. This year has been an entirely different story. He's the reason why Clemson is on the doorstep of getting into the college football playoffs.
29 touchdowns, 4 picks. You saw the comeback at Pittsburgh. 46 degrees and a slight breeze, barely a cloud in the sky. Picture perfect conditions in upstate South Carolina in front of this capacity crowd. South Carolina set to receive the opening kick after Clemson won the coin toss and deferred. Check in for the first time with Taylor Davis.
Well, Lenora Sellers has run 139 times this season. That, along with running back Rocket Sanders, have had the full attention of this Clemson defense. Linebacker Barrett Carter told me the ground game is so much about tendencies, and this defense spent ample time in the film room studying that when it comes to Sellers' scramble ability. He said, in an environment like this, for a guy early in his career, we've got to shut down the ground game and force him to be a pocket passer here today, guys.
Barrett Carter, numeral 0 in all orange. Considered one of the top linebackers in America. Raheem Sanders joins Sellers in the backfield on first down, the Arkansas transfer. Inside handoff through the A-gap, and Sanders bolts ahead to the 30. Peyton Page, the tackle, and a 5-yard gain for head coach Shane Beamer and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Sellers, native of Florence, South Carolina, making his first start in this rivalry after redshirting a season ago. On 2nd and 5. Pressure. Sellers escapes. Still on his feet. What a maneuver. Lenora Sellers into Clemson territory. Dragged down from behind to the 31. A Houdini act early in this one for the redshirt freshman, a gain of 38.
You saw the big-time pressure on the inside, not just by Peter Woods, but by the entire defensive line. A great stunt, and this should be sacked. Game over. 4 guys are on the quarterback, but this is not just any quarterback. This is Lenora Sellers, 6'3", 242, with speed, vision, and confidence.
South Carolina on the move on their first possession. Sanders, a stutter step, he'll cut it back. And a gain of 3 yards on first down. R.J. Mickens, the tackle. And Sanders walked in with street cred, according to Shane Beamer. what he was able to accomplish at Arkansas before arriving in Columbia. He's been a leader for this offense and this football team. Tripped up across the 25. It'll be 3rd and 1. T.J. Parker, the tackle.
One of the biggest things, Roy, about these rivalry games is handling the early emotion. Emotion's going to carry you early in this game, the passion, the juice. But then what do you have to do to handle it? You have to tackle well on defense, finish, and make critical plays if you're on the offensive side of the ball.
I have to believe this is 4-down territory early for the Gamecocks. Nick Harburg goes in motion. Sanders, patient run, picks up the first into the red zone.
We were talking to Dabo earlier in the week, and he was talking about how in rivalry games like these, what happens early in the game matters. The momentum. These are young kids trying to get ready. So that's an early surge by South Carolina. On the defensive side of the ball, if Clemson can get a stop here, it can get the momentum back in their favor.
5 runs for 56 yards. Sellers yet to attempt a pass. Pocket collapsing. Sellers going to be brought down. The ball popped out. T.J. Parker crashing the pocket. No signal yet. And an early turnover. Clemson gets the football. T.J. Parker forced the fumble. Right as Sellers was crashing down to the turf.
And that gives him his 10th sack of the season. It's one thing to win in your one-on-one. It's a whole other thing to finish. T.J. Parker has excellent hands, and those hands get the offensive lineman's hands off of him, and those hands also force the forced fumble. That early miss in the game helped remind this defensive line the importance of finishing strong on the cue. DeMonte Capehart also involved late. He's been banged up. A big boost on the defensive line for the Tigers today. T.J. Parker, sophomore from Phoenix City, Alabama. For Lenora Sellers, back to the drawing board. Clemson's 8th takeaway in its last 4 games. Phil Maffa on first down over the right side, a short gain. T.J. Sanders with the tackle. And for Cade Klubnik, a Texas native, Westlake High School, considered one of the best quarterbacks in America, coming out of the Lone Star State. It's taken some time, Sam, and he's gotten there this season for Dabo Swinney. Yeah, he didn't face a lot of adversity in high school. 3-time state champion, won everywhere he was, but then last year he faced some struggles.
Those struggles well documented. Quick strike, Antonio Williams escapes 1 tackle. Not the second, ahead of the 40. It's a first down. Jalen Kilgore thought he had him for a moment. It's a gain of 14 instead.
And Antonio Williams is a former freshman All-American, and as we see, this team is going to try and go fast, but Cade Klubnik is going to get the ball to his receivers. That's going to be the difference in this game. Explosion on the outside.
Empty backfield. Klubnik back to the air, and the dump off to Maffa. Scampers out after a pickup of 4.
And you wonder, why would Clemson want to get the ball out so quickly? Well, there are 2 edge players on this South Carolina defense, and both of them are problems. And so the game plan for Clemson is going to be get the ball out quick to your playmakers and don't let those edge rushers control the game.
Dylan Stewart, Kyle Kennard have been incredible this season in the SEC. Gibbs straight ahead. Bolting across the 45 late. It'll be 3rd down. And Worry tackle after a gain of just 2. Well, pick your poison on the perimeter. Kyle Kennard, the Georgia Tech transfer. Dylan Stewart, a true freshman. Impact players for head coach Shane Beamer.
Yeah, number 5 and number 6. Number 6, Dylan Stewart, is a freshman, extremely explosive, 6'6", 248. Number 5, Kyle Kennard, is a senior. So Kennard has taken Stewart under his wings, but this is the time you need to go and fly to the quarterback.
On 3rd down, crosser is broken up. Kilgore against Antonio Williams, and that'll force a Clemson punt.
Ball was a little bit high by Cade Klubnik. We talked about the emotions that come in a game like this. So calm down if you're the quarterback, calm down if you're the defense. And remember, early emotions matter, but you got to execute little things.
Kilgore drifts back to receive this punt from Aiden Swanson. Dabo Sweeney told us yesterday, high alert in all punting situations. What South Carolina's been able to do on special teams. Of course, with the last name Beamer, you can understand why. Swanson gets it away cleanly. And the fair catch made at the 17. A punt of 36-0 on the return. Beamer ball in Columbia. Gamecocks will get it back when we come back to Clemson.
You're watching Rivalry Week, presented by Fairfield by Marriott.
Now the most exciting 25 seconds in college football, and a phrase that was originally coined by the great Brent Musburger. Back in the day, he's got a spot reserved for him close to campus over the SO Club. Scoreless in this great rivalry between South Carolina and Clemson. Samacho, Roy, Philpott, Taylor, Davis, an early turnover by the Gamecocks. Their defense steps up to the table on the ensuing possession. Lenore Sellers gets it back. Here's the screen. Rocket Sanders to the edge. And a big play on first down. Sanders darting across the 35 in a gain of 20.
We've seen the pass rush from Clemson win early, even though they didn't finish. And so what does Dow Loggins, offensive coordinator for South Carolina, do? He says, okay, if y'all want to win in the pass rush, we'll let you win, and we'll throw a screen right behind you. So that's a brilliant play call early in the game to try to slow down a violent and physical pass rush.
First completion for Sellers. Sanders, full head of steam. Chopped down to the 40, a gain of 4. You know Coach Loggins pretty well. He was coaching the Chicago Bears when you were there.
Yeah, we have a history. Dow Loggins has been in the NFL, and now he's at South Carolina. He's been at Arkansas with Rocket Sanders. And he talked about the identity of this offense. Yes, they are a run-the-ball-first offense, but more than anything, they want to take shots. They run the ball in order to create explosive plays.
Off the orbit motion, the handoff. And Sammy Brown gobbles up Jared Brown. So Jared Brown back on the field, the Coastal Carolina transfer. It's third down. Marvadan in motion. Gamecocks need 6. Sellers delivers. And that's a chain mover. Marvadan from that slot position on 3rd and 6 picks up 8.
And what I saw, Roy, was unbelievable protection from the interior of the offensive line. They brought 5 or 6, and there's a clean pocket for Lenore Sellers. If that can maintain throughout this game, it could be a problem for the defensive backs who love to play man-to-man on this Clemson defense.
Sellers without the goggles once again. Here comes the heat. Sellers avoids it. Dumps it into the flats, and it's going to be dropped by Sanders. Sam, Clemson has gotten pressure. It was Ashton Hampton that time, unable to bring down Sellers in the backfield with the exception of the 1 turnover force.
We'll get used to that phrase, unable to bring down Sellers in the backfield. It's so hard to bring down a big quarterback. Think about it, 6'3", 242. A lot of these defensive ends and pass rushers and corners are 6'1", 6'2", maybe 230, 240, maybe 250 if you're a defensive lineman. You're trying to bring down a guy who's either the same size as you or bigger. You're not used to that when that person can throw the ball as well. So it's going to be difficult to bring down Lenore Sellers if you don't finish at the ball.
Campbell went in motion. Sanders to the edge again with a stiff arm. Lassoed down by Sammy Brown. Gain of 6. It'll be third down again for South Carolina.
And it can't just be you finishing, Roy. It has to be you and a couple of your buddies. Not one person's going to bring down Sellers. We had another third down and about 4 or so. So you would expect pass, possible run. If you're Clemson, you're saying, okay, if I get there, I have to finish, but I need to hold them up so other guys can come as well.
Playoff implications in Death Valley. On third down, here's Sellers. Buys some time and a little more. To the edge, he's got to go, and I don't think so. Shoved out well short of the line to gain by Sammy Brown. And Sammy, he's going to lose a yard. It'll be fourth down, and Shane Beamer will be forced to put the punt team on the field.
And that's a solid stop by Clemson. But two things to be aware of. Number one, Lenore Sellers using his legs. He uses it oftentimes to pass. He may use it to run. Second thing is Kai Kroger. This dude is a weapon, not just a punter. He's thrown passes as well.
Passes for touchdowns in his incredible career. Senior from Lake Forest, Illinois. And considered one of the top punters in America. End over end over the head of Antonio Williams. It checks up inside the 5. Beautifully executed punt. After a punt of 43, Tigers get it back when we come back.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tyson Brand. Always been Tyson. And in part by Fairfield by Marriott. Enjoy the home field advantage at Fairfield.
World famous SO Club, a Clemson tradition since 1933. Families divided, houses divided in this great rivalry. 121 years in the making this afternoon, and a game that's got playoff implications. Dabo Swinney, in our conversations with him this week, year number 17, not shying away from those topics of discussion, knowing what's at stake today. If they win, a great chance to jump into the 12-team field as an at-large, and still a chance, if Miami loses to Syracuse later today, to jump into the ACC championship game, and a pathway at that point. Tigers get it back. Klubnik goes deep. Off the carom and grabbed by Bryant Wesco Jr. Right in front of Collier. The Texas native found a way in a gain of 36.
And he was covered, Roy. Like, this ball probably shouldn't be thrown. Judge Collier is all over Bryant Wesco Jr. Bryant Wesco Jr. and Cade Klubnik do not care. That's elite level concentration from a true freshman from Texas.
Wesco missed a couple of games with an injury. Phil Maffa over the left side in a short gain of 3. Knight the tackle.
People talk about one-on-one on the corner with no safety help. You're one-on-one with safety help, yet you're still able to bring it down. That tells me there's confidence from quarterback to receiver, and also confidence from head coach and coordinator to say, hey, we're backed up. Let's get out of here and throw it deep to one of our stars.
Garrett Riley told us yesterday he's a natural leader, even if he doesn't say a ton at times. He's meant everything for this offense and their big play potential. Klubnik. Quarterback draw and sniffed out by T.J. Sanders. And that's going to be a loss of 2.
T.J. Sanders is a really, really good football player. You watch him on tape. He does a really good job with his hands. This time, watch his eyes. He's essentially spying the quarterback coming back in on a pass rush game. He knows that Cade Klubnik loves to run this quarterback draw play. And so what you do on the inside, you say, okay, you love that. I'm going to run a pass rush game on the inside to negate draws and to negate screens.
Not a sack on the rushing attempt by Klubnik. It's third down and 9. Penalty marker flies. Could be a free play. On the back shoulder to T.J. Moore. And he hauls it into the Gamecock 30. It was Collier again in coverage. Klubnik took a chance, and it paid off.
So from one freshman to another, not quarterback. No, that's the other freshman receiver, T.J. Moore from Tampa, Florida. 6'3", 200 pounds from Key West. And once again, we heard it from Dabo Swinney. He says, man, I like my receivers in this matchup. So we're going to see a lot of this early. Receivers playing unbelievable.
First penalty marker that we've seen in this game in our first quarter. And it was declined on the offsides. After a gain of 28, Antonio Williams to the edge. Cuts it back. And bolts ahead. Neiman Worry, the tackle. Williams picked up 8.
And I know that was a, it's jet sweep, speed sweep, Roy, but what I'll be keeping my eye on as this game goes on are those matchups of those freshman receivers versus the corners. That was another catch the play before on Judge Collier. Back-to-back big-time plays. So if you're a corner for South Carolina, just know you're going to get challenged. You have to be able to get your eyes around and win when the ball's in the air.
Maffa On second down, didn't need much. Stopped at the line to gain by Knight. And that's enough to move the chains. So Clemson into the red zone for the first time. 7th play of the drive coming up.
And Roy, this is the time in these rivalry games that we talk about when the nerves start to ease a little bit. All that excitement and energy is out. Now it's just playing football.
Works that way in the broadcast booth as well. Maffa motions out. Klubnik into the flats. Williams. And swallowed up quickly by Fortune. After a gain of 4. Don't forget, coming up at 3:30 Eastern on ABC, ESPN Plus, the Iron Bowl. 13th ranked Bama hosting Auburn. And then we cap the night. Sam, this game may mean a little bit more to you. Texas A&M in College Station. First time in 13 years, and now the winner advancing to the SEC championship.
Yeah, rivalry renewed. I got a chance to play in that rivalry game for 4 years, and after I left, they played it one more year, and now it's coming back. And so games like those, games like these mean so much to the players, but also to the state.
Here's Maffa, will tap dance behind the line. And still on his feet for a moment inside the 15. It'll be 3rd down. Stewart and Kyle Kennard against the run. What have you seen from them on film?
Yeah, they're both extremely explosive. So they're both great against both the run and the pass. The reason why they're great against the pass is because they have extreme length and quickness. But that length and quickness works in your favor against the run as well. Because yes, some people say you rush the quarterback and you stop the run on your way to the quarterback. And so that's kind of what these guys do. They stop the run on the way to the cue.
3rd and 3. Moore goes in motion. They'll run the toss sweep. Maffa corralled near the 10 by Knight. And he is going to be spotted about a yard shy of the line to gain. And for Dabo Swinney, his first big decision.
Yeah, he's making the right one to go for it. Notice who's coming in the game. There's some of those big boys on defense.
Peter Woods checks in. Peyton Page also has been a part of this jumbo package. And 3 tight ends on the field. Analytics tell you to go for it in this situation. A lot of beef. The Clemson backfield. It's Maffa. Gotta go, and I'm not sure. I don't think so. Knight met him at the line of scrimmage. Maffa fell backwards, and South Carolina gets it back on the turnover on downs.
Yeah, Demetrius Knight is an animal. I talked to George Wynn, the director of football operations for South Carolina. He said this guy is a leader. He's confident. He finds ways to make plays. He says he reminded me of some NFL athletes. Great job on the defensive line, Demetrius Knight, and the rest of the South Carolina Gamecocks making a huge stop.
Five-yard drive ends without points. Clemson gives it back to South Carolina after the turnover on down. Still scoreless as we take a look at our road test brought to you by Goodyear. Gamecocks in November have been perfect, and that one setback in Tuscaloosa, it was oh so close. They had a chance to win it late.
Yeah, a game they could have won on multiple occasions. Recovered an onside in that one and lost to a really good Alabama team. But this South Carolina team has gained so much confidence since that loss. They've been on fire.
Shane Beamer, year 4. Gamecocks get it back. And the shuffle back to Sanders is stopped inside the 3. Wade Woodaz now healthy for this Clemson defense, and the freshman backer, Sammy Brown.
And Roy, this may sound weird to say, but this is the most critical drive of the game. And why do I say that? It's the first quarter. But when you're backed up in a game of field position, series like these matter. If South Carolina can get out of this backed up, we call it black zone, it flips the field. If Clemson can keep them back here, all of a sudden you punt it, get the ball at the 50-yard line, and though you've had so much offense, you haven't had the points. And so what happens when you're backed up in what we call the black zone is the most critical thing when it comes to situational football.
We're back in Clemson. Coach Beamer joins me now. Coach, Lenore Sellers has been able to evade pressure but hasn't capitalized. How can you adjust on this drive?
protect better so we don't let their best defensive tackle run through and hit him in the backfield. We just got to finish drives. Great job by our defense getting stops after we put them in some tough positions, or the fourth down stop there as well. We just got to settle down and execute. They're a really good defensive team. It's that kind of game. The turnover battle is going to be huge. They're up 1-0 right now. We need to get one back.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Shane Beamer, if you didn't know any better, just a Sunday stroll in the park somewhere, ultra calm. Nothing is going to rattle Gamecocks head coach after the loss of 7 to end the first quarter. Another stop at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 17. TJ Parker has had an active first half. Sam Acho, Roy, Philpott, Taylor Davis. Each team in the first 15 minutes ventured into the opposition's red zone. Neither team able to break through with points. And it's 3rd down and long.
It's also, Roy, it's 3rd down and loud. Like when you are backed up in opponent territory, it gets loud and the crowd gets involved.
Sellers delivers. That's a strike. Pass is caught well short of the line to gain. Barreling out of bounds, Josh Simon. So good news on the South Carolina injury front to get one of Sellers' top targets back and healthy. And an 8-yard gain on 3rd and 18. The punt team trots back on the field.
Always have to keep an eye out for Kai Kroger, their punter. The South Carolina team loves to run fakes, and this is probably not the time to run one.
Antonio Williams back deep to receive. Kroger standing in his own end zone. First 3 and out of the day. And Kroger, a wobbler. Fair catch made by Williams. We check in for the first time with Matt Berry back in the studio.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Time now for the AT&T Countdown to the CFP National Championship update. We've got Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Cedric Alexander puts Vandy up 14-0 in a conference game for the first time in 6 years. That was also against Tennessee. But Chris Brazzell here over the middle from Nico Iamaleava. Right now, Vanderbilt knocking on the door again, up 14-7.
All right, Matthew, so certainly a lot of eyes here in Death Valley thinking about, and minds thinking about what's happening in Nashville. A loss by Tennessee doesn't hurt Clemson's chances in terms of an at-large, or South Carolina's opportunities as well.
And Vanderbilt's a team that loves to play with the lead.
Klubnik floats one deep as Williams, double coverage, hauled in again. Kilgore and Smith had him sandwiched. Williams didn't care.
3rd different explosive play by the 3rd different receiver. This time it's not the freshman. This time it's the older player, Antonio Williams. The sophomore, a little bit older, not a freshman, sophomore, give him something. But I see confidence from quarterback, and I see a defense that's somewhat on their heels, trying to figure out what to do to slow down the explosive offense that Clemson is showing.
It's a gain of 40, and Williams tumbling to the turf trying to leave the field. It's going to require some attention on the Clemson training staff. And then quickly to his feet, moderate assistance. So gain of 40, 3 different receivers making those big plays. It has been significant in the early going, something Clemson did not have a year ago. And you talk about playoff possibilities, chances for teams from the ACC right now. Miami, in theory, in the driver's seat. We'll see what happens up at the JMA Wireless Dome later today against Syracuse. SMU, we know, has punched its ticket to the ACC championship game. Miami loses. Clemson goes to Charlotte next week. Miami wins. It'll be the Mustangs and the Hurricanes.
Correct. And so right now, SMU's in the ACC championship game. Miami with the win, they're in. And whoever wins that game, highest ranked conference champ is going to be in. Now, if Miami loses, then Clemson is in. And then whoever wins that game again is going to be in. And then if neither of those happen, Clemson has a chance to get in at large.
Here's Maffa with a cut. An explosive move stopped by Bam Martin Scott. Be a 4-yard gain. There's all kinds of matchups throughout today with playoff implications. We mentioned the Iron Bowls. We take a look at our weekend lineup brought to you by Wendy's Saucy Nugs. Miami, Syracuse for SMU and Cal Mustangs, we know, are in the championship already next weekend in Charlotte. Still a big game in terms of the at-large possibilities. And even later tonight in the rough and rugged Big 12. Klubnik's going to take off. Klubnik with a touchdown. And the Tigers strike first in Death Valley.
With Dabo Swinney, said there needs to be a change at times from Cade Klubnik to be from a quarterback to a weapon. How does he turn into a weapon? By using his legs. Cade Klubnik can play quarterback, but he also has the ability to run the ball, and it's hard to stop.
Hoosiers extra point up and good. You know it's coming for both sides. The question is, can you find a way to stop it?
Well, when you're an athletic quarterback, well, you know what it's like to win. You know what it's like to use your legs at the precise time. It's extremely hard to stop no matter who you are.
Here in Clemson, South Carolina, you're watching the ACC on ESPN. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, Cade Klubnik, first score of this game. 7-0, just underway in our second quarter. Gamecocks will get it back, and Klubnik's numbers this year through the air impressive. On the ground, he's been more effective.
Correct. He's having a career year. That 28-94 passing yards is a career high for Cade Klubnik, and the 29 touchdowns, along with only 4 interceptions, is a change. Last year, there was multiple turnovers. We're not seeing that this season, so growth and maturity from Klubnik.
After the touchback, we check in again with Matt Berry.
All right, our Fairfield by Marriott studio update. Michigan going for it, 4th and 1. Caleb Downs meets Kalel Mullings right there to stop him, but Michigan has just picked off Will Howard. They've got it goal to go.
You just never know in rivalry weekend how these things are going to shake out. Kirby Smart, by the way, just called another timeout in the 9th overtime after what we saw late last night. Norris Sellers back on the field. Gamecocks possessions, fumble, punt, and punt. Oscar Attaway III, the new Gamecock running back. Here's Sellers, clean pocket, delivers, Harbor. And he'll punish his way for a first down. The track star, 6'5", 235. Picks up 17 in front of Hampton.
Yeah, I've been impressed, Roy, by the offensive line from South Carolina. I get it, there was some pressure early, but that's the second time I've heard you say clean pocket. When Lenore Sellers has a clean pocket, it's going to be a problem. So if the pass rush cannot get home, Harbor and the rest of these receivers are going to get open.
Tigers show a 4-3 alignment, and there goes Attaway into Clemson territory. A burst off the bench for the transfer from North Texas, give him 21.
Yeah, you see a missed tackle there by Jaheim Carter. Attaway finds a way to find the hole, and this defense loves to play a lot of man-to-man. The issue with man-to-man is when you get out of your gap, no one's there, so there's going to be a big-time run, and that's what happened. We saw some of the defensive line get displaced from their gap, and that's where the run was able to pop.
Already 75 rush yards. Attaway will add to that tally. Inside the 35, a gain of 4 more. You think about all the teams in the Southeastern Conference right now, it is a logjam at the top. Texas and Texas A&M renew hostilities later tonight down at Kyle Field. Georgia, we feel like, is in the new 12-team college football playoff, and there is Tennessee. There is South Carolina, 2 teams that feel like their resumes speak volumes, and especially for the Gamecocks with a win today in Death Valley, we shall see. Attaway tripped up and stopped at the 29 by Wood-Ass. So a gain of 4 more. It'll be 3rd and short.
Just going back quickly to that conversation about Tennessee, South Carolina, if Tennessee loses, will have a strong argument as to why they should be in the playoff. There will be a 6-game winning streak if South Carolina wins against another top-ranked team. But the way you win those games is by executing when it matters. 3rd and short situational football, got to execute up front.
7 in the box for Clemson. Attaway straight ahead, churning the legs. And the drive stays alive. Barrett Carter able to bring him down. Not before he picked up 4 more.
Great job by Attaway again. And this time, you only need 2 yards. And so you're going to see on the inside the great blocking. That was Rashawn Lee, the center, 6'4", 314 from Woodbridge, Virginia, displacing the defensive line. And so the offensive line so far, led by Rashawn Lee, has done a great job of creating space.
After 4 straight runs, Sellers stays alive. Sellers inside the 10. Tumbling towards the front pylon. And the signal is a touchdown. Somehow, someway, the freshman quarterback reached the end zone. Magnificent.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. So number 1, he extends the ball past the pylon, feet in bounds. So the awareness, as they're going to review it, but the awareness to get the ball past the pylon with his feet in bounds is one thing. But when we go back and watch what Lenore Sellers did earlier, you'll be maybe even more in awe.
Clemson and South Carolina trading body blows here to begin our second quarter. Sellers' second run of over 25 yards. And we are tied at 7 in Death Valley.
Roy Philpott, this dude is a video game. I mean, it's not just him extending at the end. It's what he did at the beginning. He should have been sacked time and time again, yet Lenore Sellers doesn't care. 6'3", 242 in the end zone.
Tied at 7 back in Clemson, South Carolina. Look outside of the Shepherd Hotel here in the heart of downtown Clemson. In partnership with the university's Clemson Live program, approximately 30% of the hospitality staff are recent graduates with intellectual disabilities such as autism, spectrum disorder, and Down syndrome. The opportunities provided prepare the hotel workers to be more independent adults, changing lives. And Cameron Boulware, younger brother, former Clemson national champion linebacker Ben Boulware, featured in one of the great stories behind the scenes in Clemson, South Carolina. Sam Acho.
Yeah, it makes me smile watching opportunities for people of all ages to be treated like humans. It brings you a lot of joy.
Lenore Sellers has been superhuman with what we've seen in the month of November. Both quarterbacks starting today, each with a touchdown run and just 1 incompletion to begin this rivalry matchup. Alex Herrera for the Gamecock touchdown, and it did not take long. Fair catch made at the 12, and Clemson gets it back. Jarvis Green, walk me through this last sequence.
Well, the first thing you got to know is look at the acceleration from Lenore Sellers. He's able to escape and to accelerate. He was a finalist for Mr. Football for South Carolina. He's from Florence, South Carolina. Helped his school win their first state championship, and the reason he did it was with his arm and with his legs. Lenore Sellers is showing a different type of speed, a different type of acceleration, and a different type of awareness that makes him on the verge of elite.
On first down, Maffa, Klubnik in the backfield, his first big play, and ushered out of bounds short of the 40. Gain of 14. So Phil Maffa, didn't see him a lot a week ago in the win against the Citadel. Only 3 carries in that game, trying to get healthy and gain some strength late in this season. You got to think for him on his final home game, this one means a little bit more. Garrett Riley reminding us yesterday he's one of our best football players, period. He's got to touch it a bunch. Man-to-man coverage, and this time South Carolina's defense, Bakari Swain on TJ Moore. We've seen a bunch of contested receptions so far, not that time.
Well, yeah, that was outstanding coverage by Bakari Swain. He's staying in phase with TJ Moore. His eyes are on Moore, and then he gets his head back around, and that long left arm is able to help that ball be incomplete. Carrollton, Georgia Central High School. Bakari Swain
Another young standout for head coach Shane Beamer. Klubnik now 7 of 9 passing, over 130 yards. Mappa still on his feet. And a gain of 6 on 2nd and 10. Kilgore, him and Worry combined to make the tackle.
People underestimate, Roy, how important a gain of 6 on 2nd and 10 is, because let's say that was a gain of 1 or 2, all of a sudden it goes to 3rd and 8 or 9. Now it's 3rd and 4. The entire playbook is open, and so that's a little thing but a big thing for Phil Maffa and this Clemson offense.
Tigers 1 of 3 on 3rd down so far. Here's Klubnik. Lofts another one deep. Wesco, no. Wesco was breaking open. The pass, a little too much zip on it. And that's going to force a Clemson punt.
Yeah, great job up front by South Carolina. The reason that ball was overthrown is that Cade Klubnik felt a little bit of pressure. You feel pressure as a quarterback, it may speed you up a little bit. So Cade Klubnik gets sped up, overthrows the ball. Great coverage, but a better pass rush.
Kilgore back deep to receive this punt from Aiden Swanson. And Klubnik back to the drawing board. Swanson from Tampa originally. Left-footed punter sends it high and short. Kilgore clean, fair catch at the 25. Gamecocks will take over there. Kick off your Week 13 NFL Sunday with a countdown crew. They'll break down the big matchup. Saquon Barkley, the Eagles, Derrick Henry, and the Ravens. Plus, how Matthew McConaughey has helped Falcons running back Bijan Robinson fulfill his acting dream, and the top plays from Backyard Turkey Bowl. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, ESPN, and the app. You have to know Matthew McConaughey.
I do. When I was in Texas, he would come by our practices when I was a player, and then even last year got a chance to call the Sugar Bowl from the sideline. We talked to him, interviewed him. All right. This game is all right. It's pretty good.
We thought it would be competitive. Here we are. It's a tie game. Halfway home in our second quarter. Peter Woods back on the field for the Clemson defense. Play action. Reaching to make the grab. It's incomplete. Nick Harbor, the intended target. Terrell in coverage. Acho, you just throw it up there to 6'5", and chances are good things are going to happen for the track star.
Well, a good thing didn't happen this time because Avion Terrell, the younger brother of A.J. Terrell in the NFL, is playing great in coverage as well. Notice he stays in phase, gets that hand inside, and he finishes. That's the thing a lot of DBs don't do often. They don't finish. And so even if you think you're beat, finish until that ball is out, and then you'll be happy with the results.
Wes Goodwin told us yesterday, Clemson's defensive coordinator, he thought Terrell would be just fine in coverage against Harbor. Crossing route, and it is corralled. That's enough for a first down. Jared Brown in traffic right in front of Hampton.
And we talk about it again. Hampton 6'2", 200, the freshman, but Hampton's trying to finish as well. This time he doesn't get the ball out. So great job on the reception, but you're noticing a lot of man-to-man coverage from Clemson, a little bit of man-to-man from South Carolina. Watch how the DBs finish. Watch if they finish. That'll determine the results of that specific play.
I wonder when Sellers and his mobility become a factor again. Peter Woods a tackle on Rocket Sanders. Gain of just 1 yard. If you're Wes Goodwin, Clemson's defensive coordinator, what do you tell your guys on the sideline when you've seen Sellers already with 2 runs of over 25?
I say, hey, guys, this is what we expected. We've seen this guy on tape. We know who he is. So we need everyone to rally to the football. It can't just be one of y'all trying to get him down. Now, here's the issue. The last couple plays, it's been 4 or 5 guys trying to get him down. So we say, bring your pads. When you're coming to hit him, bring your pads.
Sellers kept it. And off the dump off, Terrell snipped it out. Josh Simon with the grab, and no gain on the play. Clemson ready for that sequence.
So Avion Terrell is in coverage, but he's watching the ball. So great job with his eyes, but even better job on the tackle. Simon's a bigger dude, about 6'6", about 240. So great job, but now what's important here? 3rd and long, finish. Bring your pads on the quarterback if you're the defense.
Play clock winding down. Sellers, movement. And here comes a flag. Left side of that line started to shift.
False start. Offense. Everyone moved but the snapper. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Well, Sam, the first accepted infraction in this game. It'll back Carolina up 5 yards, 3rd and 14.
Yeah, and the second thing I'm thinking, Roy, is yes, you need to finish, but you may also need to spy on the quarterback. 4-man rush has not been effective. You've gotten back there, you haven't finished. So play man-to-man, get a spy, and try to bring down Sellers if you can.
Clemson showing pressure. GWES on the move, and Sellers going to be dropped at the 30. A loss of 3. GWES battling back from that leg contusion.
So Wade GWES was a part of it, but also keep your eye on Peter Woods on the inside, number 11. So GWES comes through free, but Peter Woods uses his hands to make sure that when he comes on his stunt, he's able to get off the block. So great job by GWES, but great job by Peter Woods as well, the 6'3", 315 sophomore.
3rd sack by the Clemson defense. 4 TFLs thus far. And in a tie game, Kai Kroger sends it deep. And Williams with a fair catch, battling the sunshine. After a punt of 58, Cade Klubnik back on the field in a tie game after this. Tied at 7 back in Clemson, 5:02 remaining in a fast-moving first half. So we take a look at our player spotlight, brought to you by Old Spice. Kyle Kennard, the transfer from Georgia Tech, 11.5 sacks. That leads the Southeastern Conference along with Dylan Stewart. Kennard has been a tremendous acquisition in the transfer portal, Acho.
He has, and it's not just been his stats, it's been what he's been for Dylan Stewart. I was talking to some of the coaching staff, and they said that Kyle Kennard has taken Dylan Stewart under his wing. So the positive you see from Stewart, attribute some of that to Kennard.
On first down, we check in with Taylor Davis. Kyle Kennard, Clayton White told us we didn't know he was going to be this good, Taylor.
Very quickly a fixture of this team, but also in the community, guys. This past week, he teamed up with the Boys and Girls Club of Midlands to host a food drive, handing out turkeys, sides, canned goods for families in need to celebrate Thanksgiving. He told me, I came in as the new guy, but no one treated me that way. The support we get in the city of Columbia, it's been my mission to try and give back.
A great story, especially this week of Thanksgiving. Wesco bottled up quickly. It'll be 3rd down and long. Van Martin Scott. That's a loss of 3.
Great play by Martin Scott. He didn't hesitate. That's the benefit of what you just saw. He's playing with safety, about 10 yards off, but he saw the play, he ran it. Now, 3rd and long for Clemson. So the pass rush, Kyle Kennard, Dylan Stewart, this is the time where they can start to activate.
Super senior with a TFL. 3rd down and 11. You can feel momentum teetering between both sides. This rivalry matchup. Off the draw. Jay Haynes crossing the 20 and brought down by Fortune. So on 3rd down and 11, the handoff goes to Haynes. It'll be 4th down and short.
And you wonder why on 3rd and 11 would you run the ball? Well, those 2 edge rushers that we talked about, they are problems. This is the first 3rd and long that Clemson has been in. Remember, it's been a lot of 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, where you may be able to run the ball. 3rd and obvious, the offensive line may not be able to hold up. And so safe call, but I believe it's the right call by Dabo Swinney.
Aiden Swanson, after South Carolina's defense forces Clemson to a 3-and-out for the first time. He's back on the field to punt it away. Juju McDowell standing at his own 33. Line drive kick, McDowell waiting on some blockers. An outstanding starting field position for the Gamecocks near their own 41 after a punt of 46, a return of 8. Let's take it back in time. Hard to believe it's been nearly 25 years. November 18th here in Death Valley. Tommy Bowden, the head coach, Lou Holtz at South Carolina. A desperation eve. Rod Gardner. Was he pushing off of Andre Goodman or was it clean? You decide. Aaron Hunt, the game winner. Important to note that 16-14 victory for Clemson in a battle of top 25 teams. The lone win Both teams are ranked in the AP top 25. For Clemson, in the history of this rivalry, South Carolina 5-1 advantage in that category. Folks in this part of the world talked about that play in that game. Well, still to this very day, some 24 years later.
That's the benefit of rivalry games and rivalry week. When this game ends, if you're living somewhere else, you might move on, but if you're in this state, you will never move on. You think about these games for years, for decades, for centuries?
Well, perhaps. It's a long time from now. Best starting field position by 16 yards for South Carolina. In a tie game, Sellers wants to keep it and run with it. He cannot, shoved out. And that was Cade Denhoff. And a loss of 4. A little extracurricular activity there near the South Carolina sideline. Monte Capehart involved on the Clemson side with a late shove. Kamar Bell with some words as well. Yeah, the history between these two, it gets bitter in a hurry. 1896, South Carolina won that first game. Clemson then seized control. Tigers have won 8 of the last 9. That's after a 5-game winning streak. The old ball coach down in Columbia. After the 5th TFL. 2nd and 14. Roll the pocket for Sellers. Flings it incomplete. Larvidan was the intended receiver. And we check in again with Taylor.
Well, guys, I spoke with Lenora Sellers about this rivalry. The kid who grew up in Florence, South Carolina, but he told me, honestly, I didn't watch it a ton. I was a Tar Heels fan growing up, but he said since being in Columbia, I fully get it. And he had every expectation this was going to be a hostile environment, one of the biggest stages of his young career, but he told me, I can't make it bigger than it is. My composure has to be that of practice.
Well, the goggles are off, but the composure has been on point. Redshirt freshman season. Swing pass. Brown waiting for the convoy. Spun down hard near midfield. Short of the line to gain. TJ Parker lower the boom, and that will get us to the 2-minute timeout. 4th and short in Clemson when we return.
I'm Matt Berry, coming up in the Avocados from Mexico halftime report. 8 is enough for Georgia in the thriller last night. We'll recap that. Plus Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan leading in this one closer than people thought in its rivalry Saturday. One of the best weekends of the year. Expect anything, as you guys have been talking about. Dan Mullen, Joey Galloway joining me coming up on the Mercedes-Benz halftime report.
Matt Berry, we cannot wait. Formerly of WLTX fame down in Columbia. He's covered a number of these rivalry matchups. 2 minutes remaining. Out of the timeout, Shane Beamer brings Kai Kroger back on the field. And the Gamecocks will show a punt formation. Antonio Williams back deep to receive for the Tigers. And Kroger gets it away. End over end, Williams. No fair catch. And corralled quickly at the 10. Sam, how aggressive would you want Dabo Swinney to be here under these circumstances? Tie game, both defenses playing well. We've seen some big plays, but a lot of time to work with, all 3 timeouts.
I'd be extremely aggressive for a number of reasons. Reason number 1 is that I get the ball to begin the second half. Reason number 2 is that I've been effective throwing the ball. If I'm Dabo Swinney, I'm saying, okay, we've been effective throwing the ball down the field to our receivers. We had an opportunity backed up in this situation. So if I'm Dabo, I'd be extremely aggressive in this situation.
It was a week-long march to get to this Saturday for Dabo Swinney. And along the way, educating this team and this program that features stars from Texas, Florida, all around the country about this rivalry. Doug Riley confirmed to us yesterday it was informative, educational, and he felt like it was necessary. Maffa spun down after a gain of 5. And we remind you the playoff percentages with a win today for Clemson. And we're talking about an at-large possibility, or, of course, you could punch your ticket in the ACC championship game. You need help to get there. 59% in orange, 39% for South Carolina. And the pass incomplete. Olsen Pat Henry, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd down and 5, but those implications perhaps being boosted right now considering Vanderbilt has a lead at home against top 10 Tennessee.
Yeah, but those implications don't matter if you don't win this game. I mean, especially when it comes to being an at-large team. If your goal is to try and be one of those at-large teams and, for lack of better terms, control your own destiny, you have to win this game. How do you win a game? By winning a play. And so this play, 3rd and 5, practicing situations all season long, is going to be critical.
Fundamentals preached to us by Shane Beamer and Dabo Sweeney. Williams in traffic, picks up the first. 3rd and 5, a gain of 9, and the drive begins there.
Correct, and now's when you start speeding it up. I get it. Clemson has 3 timeouts. The clock isn't necessarily against you, but start speeding up. You have some momentum. You got that quick 3rd down. Great job by Williams. Now turn it up a little bit.
Tigers with more of a sense of urgency. Klubnik takes off. And across the 30, Knight brought him down. It's a gain of 6 more. All 14 points coming in this second quarter. It's the second time in the last 20 minutes we had a first 15 minutes without a single point scored. TJ Moore dives down. Clock will stop for a moment after a 6-yard gain, and now Clemson's going to utilize its first timeout. 2 remaining.
Timeout, Clemson.
Get 50% off your first year of Target Circle 360 membership with unlimited same-day delivery.
Now back here in Clemson, happy Thanksgiving. What a scene it has been so far today. 2 schools separated by about 2 hours of interstate travel. 26 to 85. You can get back and forth pretty quickly, and boy, just the energy here in the arena, if you will, this afternoon. We felt it driving onto campus some 3 hours before kick. I've been tailgating here since last Wednesday, it feels like, and well, stakes this high, you understand why.
And Roy, this is week 14 for us, but what did you expect in this game?
A rock fight, and I think we've seen that, and the fireworks coming in the second half. We've only gotten just a taste of it thus far. That was my expectation. It has delivered. Klubnik all afternoon to survey and delivers that pass high. I'm not sure who he was looking at. Sitting down middle of zone coverage was Brenningstool. So he's been banged up and now back on the field today. 35 receptions this year.
You see the hesitation from Klubnik. He sees Brenningstool, but then there's people around his feet, somebody in his face. But that's a missed opportunity, I would say, by South Carolina. You talk about the game, 7-7, but it feels as if momentum is in Clemson's favor. How do you take momentum? Sacks, force fumbles, turnovers, so when that ball's in the air, find a way to retrieve it.
Texas native, Palmetto State rivalry. Zings one towards the sideline. And Wesco hauls it in, close to another first down. That ball had to travel a long distance to get near the line to gain. And he'll be spotted just short. Or no, a first down. Let's see. It'll be 3rd and about an inch. It took a moment for this veteran officiating crew to signal.
The ruling on the
Olsen,
field of a
our
catch
referee.
is video review.
Chains never moved. They may want to take another look at that. Make sure that Wesco was able to complete the process of catching the football, Sam.
And I get that they're looking at it, but from a player perspective, one of the best things about some of these replays for me is we try to see if he got the first or not. One of the best things is that you get an extra timeout. And so the referees are looking to see if, is it a completion, is it not, is it first down, is it not? But also you get a chance to regroup, both South Carolina and Clemson, to talk about what you're going to do regardless of the situation.
Needed to reach the 47 to pick up the first. Only 1 foot inbounds is needed with control in college. We do have our rules expert, Matt Austin, alongside. And Matt, it's got to be indisputable video evidence. What did you see there on what was ruled to be a completion to Wesco?
Well, I think what they're looking at, he does have firm control, is that right foot down out of bounds before he gets control of the ball. Left foot's definitely in bounds. Is the right foot touching the line? I thought the left foot was on the ground when he possessed the ball and the right foot was in the air. I think this is a catch.
And again, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. Sam, we've had some interesting sequences in the replay booth the last couple of weeks. Agree with Matt, but a close play, a bang play on the sideline, a pivotal play near the end of the half with that right foot out of bounds. The question is, did he have firm control with the left before the tap dance?
Love what Matt Austin said about that indisputable video evidence. That's what they're looking at, that left foot and the right foot. And can you dispute the fact that, number one, it was a called catch on the field?
We can dispute anything. I've learned that the hard way this year. And you can slow it down and make a reception look like an incompletion potentially, or vice versa.
But what we've also learned is that oftentimes whatever was called initially, that has to be overturned. And so if they called it a catch, you have to be able to prove that it wasn't, versus if they called it incomplete, can you say that it was a catch for sure? So those are the things that the referees are looking at in processes like these.
It's either 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 1. Our replay official, Mitch Wilkins. And here we go.
After video review, it is an incomplete pass. The receiver's right foot was out of bounds when he secured possession of the ball. It'll be 3rd down at the negative 37-yard line.
The last look we had from the opposite angle was the one that made me pause the most, as the right foot came down almost simultaneously with the left inbounds.
Correct. You look at that first angle, you start thinking, okay, that left foot is down like we were talking about. But then you look at the second angle and you could see where an argument could be made that that other foot was down.
3rd and 10. It was close. Negates a 9-yard gain. Gamecocks do have 3 timeouts remaining as well. That could be a factor. On the handoff, Maffa. Full head of steam. Stopped at the 44 by Martin Scott. And time continuing to tick down. It'll be 4th and short. And neither side electing to utilize a timeout here. Sam, that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me. Clemson is saying, okay, we didn't get our opportunity. South Carolina, on the other hand, is saying, okay, even if we did call a timeout right now when they punted it, we'd have 30 or so seconds. We'd be backed up. So no issues with both teams allowing this clock to run all the way down to halftime.
What should be the final play. Entertaining first half. And for the first time in 32 years, this game heads to the locker room tied. 12th ranked Clemson, 15th ranked South Carolina, knotted up at 7. Let's see the Avocados from Mexico. Halftime report, Matt Barry, Joey Galloway, Coach Mullen, take it away.
You're watching Rivalry Week, presented by Fairfield by Marriott.
And welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Tyson Brand, a part of Fairfield by Marriott Rivalry Week. Sunsplash Death Valley, and for the first time in 32 years, Clemson and South Carolina tied at halftime to begin our 3rd quarter, 7 points apiece. Playoff ramifications for both sides with a win for Clemson. Their chances boosted to 59%, a win by South Carolina. The Gamecocks at 39%. He's Sam Acho. I'm Roy Philpott. Taylor Davis joins us once again in just 1 minute. Thoughts on an entertaining start here?
It's been a great half of football. I mean, offense, defense, special teams. We just haven't seen a lot of points, but sometimes games like these come down to what we talked about, the execution, then the scoring will follow.
A physical start here in Death Valley. Clemson set to receive our second half kickoff. And the quarterbacks, well, they've been the story on the ground at least.
Absolutely. Both Cade Klubnik and Lenore Sellers have done what we thought they were going to do. Use their legs to create plays. The one difference for Clemson has been Cade's receivers. For Lenore's in South Carolina has been his elusivity. Can we go there? Elusivity?
That's a word today.
All right. Today is going to be a word. He's extremely elusive.
Well, the first half, the two scores, both by the quarterbacks, both coming on the ground up first for Cade Klubnik.
And here's a quarterback draw. They tried it earlier in the game. It did not work. But later on in the red zone, extremely effective. Then later on, Lenore Sellers had a big-time run early, but then the quickness, the acceleration, the power, and the awareness to evade multiple defenders, and then the wherewithal to get the ball to the end zone at the pylon is what's most impressive about this run by Lenore Sellers.
After the touchback, the Tigers from the 25. Number 15 versus number 12. Playoff implications here and around the country. And a lot of eyes remain in Nashville, Tennessee with the Volunteers and the Vanderbilt Commodores, especially for fans of both of these teams. TJ Moore, the quick slant. And a gain of 9. Collier brought him down, and we'll check in with Taylor Davis.
Yeah, Roy, I talked with both coaches at the half, and they used the same phrase, settle in and execute. For Coach Sweeney in this offense, he felt like they left points on the board to end the half, but they have the opportunity to do it here on this first drive. Specifically wants to see some spark plays created with the receiving group. He felt like they really showed out well in the first half. Now, as for Coach Beamer and those receivers, he said, look, they've got talented guys on the edge, and we play man coverage, so somebody's got to make a play, but it starts with affecting their quarterback. We are letting Cade Klubnik sit back there and attack us through the air, challenged his guys to get after him a bit more.
11 of 17 passing for Klubnik. 157 yards as Maffa checks out. And here comes TJ Moore. Late shove out of bounds, no penalty marker. Gain of 5. E-Man Worry made sure that that play was stopped where it was.
So we're going to see this TJ Moore on the sideline, going to slip towards the end. No issue with the hit. But there's a little thing that's a big thing. Phil Maffa just came out of the game. And he came out of the game, I don't know if it was his shoulder, but he looked like he was affected somehow. Remember those 4, 5, 6-yard runs that we were getting earlier from Clemson, if you're a Clemson fan? He's the one who's helping get those. So, thing to watch out for Clemson.
On 2nd and 5, Klubnik, and that pass is going to be swatted down. TJ Sanders. Like a rejection at the rim in basketball. 3rd down and 5.
Here's where the two ends get a chance to activate. Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart. They've been non-factors for the game, and a lot of that is because of the game plan. Game plan by Garrett Riley, offensive coordinator for Clemson, and this offense. The 3rd and 5 is an opportunity to try and affect the quarterback, outside and on the inside as well.
Clemson only 2 of 7 on 3rd down. Gamecocks showing pressure. Here it comes. Klubnik delivers quickly. And that's a chain-moving completion to Bryant Westcoat Jr. Fortune stopped him after a gain of 7. And Clemson at midfield.
And we talked to Garrett Riley earlier, and he said, hey, man, here's our game plan. We're going to get the ball out extremely quickly. South Carolina brought pressure. Ball came out in a snap.
It was a 16-7 outcome last year down at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. Only Clemson touchdown coming from its defense, and Khalil Barnes on a scoop and score early. Klubnik steps ahead again to the edge, and Klubnik racing out of bounds. Rolled down to the 35, an outstanding block by Jay Haynes, a freshman running back.
And Haynes is going to have to play a bigger part in this game with whatever happened or didn't happen to Phil Maffa. But what was even bigger, this is supposed to be a shot play, and so Cade Klubnik turned into a weapon. We talked about it. Nothing's there on the shot. They're playing deep coverage, and so Cade Klubnik turned nothing into something.
Cade Klubnik recruited by Shane Beamer during his time at Oklahoma in the Midwest. Brenningstool. First grab for Clemson's tight end inside the 30. Kilgore the tackle. And a gain of 6. Jake Brenningstool, senior from Brentwood, Tennessee. Put up big numbers. 6'6", 240. He had 40 receptions this season. And he had been injured late in the year. Didn't see him a week ago. We've seen him today more as a blocker for his first reception there.
He can do it all, Roy. You talked about him as a blocker. He accelerates on contact in the run game, which is hard to do for tight end. So watch out for him in the blocking game as well.
Klubnik keeps it. Oh, he ripped it out of there on the zone read. And bolting ahead. It'll be 3rd and short. Martin Scott a tackle. Methodical approach by Clemson to begin this second half in a tie game.
And Klubnik using his legs as well. So no Moffa, at least in this series so far. So they're going a little bit more quarterback run, whether it's designed or whether it's the quarterback saying, I got to get us in the third and manageable so we can erase some of the pass rush that South Carolina wants to bring.
And Sam, we mentioned to Garrett Riley yesterday, I felt as if Moffa was not 100% in the last couple of weeks. He's ducking out of bounds early on some runs. You wondered if that would creep up today. It has. And Haynes, his replacement, driving the legs ahead of the 25. Right at the line to gain. Jalen Kilgore appears to be injured for South Carolina.
Timeout on the field for a player.
Great job by the offensive line here.
First down.
Just getting pressure, and then Jay Haynes doing it by himself. Offensive line gets a little bit of push, and then Haynes leans forward to get that first down.
Kilgore remains on the field. First down Clemson when we return.
On the mountaintop, national champion.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff.
Hard to believe, less than a month away from the brand new 12-team college football playoff. Here in Clemson, South Carolina, we are tied at 7. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Under 11 minutes remaining in our third quarter. An impressive start of the second half. The Clemson offense already 4 first downs, but movement by the freshman running back Jay Haynes. Going to back the Tigers up 5.
False start. Offense, number 26. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
First Clemson penalty of the afternoon. And Haynes will check out. Bill Moffa back on the field. Taylor, what did you see of Moffa on the sideline moments ago?
Yeah, Roy, he never went into the medical tent, but he was tending to his left shoulder with one of the trainers down here on the sideline. They were walking alongside him. He was shaking that left arm, kind of making a fist, gripping with it. So it seems that left side shoulder arm is what's bothering him.
After the penalty, 1st and 15, Moffa splits out wide. Empty backfield for Klubnik. We've seen quarterback run out of this formation. Not this time, a quick strike, Williams. And one defender miss into the red zone. And on 1st and 15, a gain of 12, maybe 13. And the Tigers on the move again.
And notice how quickly Antonio Williams got upfield as soon as he caught that ball. That was a gain of 12 or 13. It could have been a gain of 8 or 9, but as soon as he gets that ball, he gets upfield. And so brilliant ball placement by Klubnik, but great job getting upfield for another time by Williams.
Jalen Kilgore running around behind the South Carolina bench. Off the field under his own power moments ago. Snap in the red zone. Klubnik's going to take off quickly. Klubnik into the end zone for the touchdown. This time from 18 yards out, Klubnik saw it, took off immediately. $75 yards in just over 5 minutes, and a very impressive start in this third quarter for the home team.
Methodical drive, impressive start. Seemed as if the halftime speech was effective.
Hoosier on for the extra point. Right down College Avenue, 14-7. And one more look.
Decisions. This is an RPO look, and the RPO was not open. Notice the eye. So the quick decision, as soon as it's not there, you tuck it and go. So great decision making by quarterback Cade Klubnik. Nothing's available early. You take what's there, and then you don't try to extend the ball out of the end zone. No, you protect it, get in the end zone. Great job by Klubnik, making a great critical decision.
9:57 remaining in our third quarter. Klubnik strikes again, and now it's Lenora Sellers' turn. Numbers starting to stockpile on the ground for number 2 in orange. Clemson in its all-orange uniforms today, symbolizing an opportunity to win a championship. It would be a state title. Fair catch called for by Juju McDowell. Gamecocks will take over. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you once again, All-State. If you're South Carolina, obviously you want points on this possession. How do you get there from here with what we've seen from the freshman signal caller?
You get it from the freshman signal caller. You keep the ball in Lenore Sellers' hands. What we've seen from South Carolina is that when the game is on the line, they give the ball to their best player. Better yet, they keep it in his hands. Now, the game's not on the line right now, but this is a critical drive. So keep the ball in Sellers' hands and let him do what he does best, make plays when nothing's available. 9 in the box, bunch formation. Sanders going to be stacked up and driven backwards. Wade Woodaz, nominal gain on the play. Give him a yard, and that's about it. Now, Woodaz has been an impact in his return. Clemson's linebacking core, not the same without number 17.
No, they haven't been the same, but there's been experience gained. Woodaz is back now, but Sammy Brown, number 47, has had a chance to really gain a lot of experience. Now, was the number 1 high school recruit, so this team is young defensively, but they're gaining exposure and experience.
Here's Sanders with a crease and some power. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Rocket Sanders, Lil Barnes, and Terrell stopped them after a gain of 6.
And this is a situation, if you're South Carolina, don't panic. Like, everything is okay, everything is fine. You're down by a score, you've been in relative control of the game. Don't panic, everything is good. Calm, cool, collected.
Brown motions out, is wide open on the wheel. Jared Brown with a 1st down. Well-designed play by Dow Loggins. Gain of 22 on 3rd.
And what happened on that play is TJ Parker, the defensive end, he's essentially man-to-man on the running back. Was a defensive end, you're not used to being in that situation. So that running back essentially motions out. Parker has to widen out with him. You know, if that's your man, you have to widen out. He's no longer in the backfield. He essentially turns into a receiver. So widen out, back up, and play better coverage.
3rd grab for Brown. Back in the lineup for head coach Shane Beamer. They'll set up the screen. Sanders broke 1 tackle, now 2. Ball is stripped from behind. Who got it? Avion Terrell forced the fumble. Clemson recovers. What a moment for the sophomore cornerback.
Field position and turnovers are what are going to determine this game. Avion Terrell punches the ball out, then rips it away, and recovered by Barrett Carter, the Nagurski Award finalist.
ESPN College Football, presented by Tyson Brand, is brought to you by Taco Bell. Download the Taco Bell app and vote for the Live Moss Student Section of the Year.
(14-7), Clemson leading South Carolina. Look at the Taco Bell Live Moss student section all season long. Student sections across the country competing to be the Taco Bell Live Moss student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more today. It has been festive down there, even with this Thanksgiving holiday. Both coaches talk with us this week about the battle in terms of turnovers, and it sounds cliche, but it means everything. And today, Clemson +2, an advantage. They're 3rd in America in that category.
The reason it means everything is that when you play clean football, the one thing that can change the game is the ball. It's taking the ball away, and so that's what we're seeing.
Kilmafa back on the field, play action, the slant route is there. That's going to be a 1st down and a lot more. Brian Wesco stumbles in South Carolina territory, a gain of 23.
And Wesco's starting to show off a little bit of that Texas swagger, a little bit of that elusiveness. Yes, he's a freshman, but he has so much confidence, so much poise. See the quickness and great effort by the defensive line. But Wesco's doing his thing.
Empty backfield, Antonio Williams. Sidestepped 1 defender, twisting out of bounds inside the 40. Bakari Swain had a chance. We've seen Clemson in the short passing game, horizontal, vertically, some starting to seize control a little bit in the third.
Correct. The receivers have been extremely impressive, whether it's Bryant Wesco Jr., Antonio Williams, TJ Moore. But what needs to happen if you're South Carolina is that you're playing a lot of man-to-man. You need to play just a little bit tighter in coverage. More contested catches could potentially equal more balls up in the air to force turnovers of your own.
We'll see what Clayton White, South Carolina's defensive play caller, dials up. Looks like pressure. Klubnik floats one deep. Man-to-man coverage. Some hand fighting, and Wesco blanketed by Swain. 2nd and 10.
And another reason why I say play tighter coverage is that you know the ball's coming out quick. It seems as if the game plan is get the ball out quick because they know that your edge rushers are elite. And so if you're a corner, you have to understand that the ball's not staying in the quarterback's hands for very long. Tighten coverage just a little bit to make it harder for the receivers.
Analytics suggest this is 4-down territory. If it's 4th and 5 or less, Clemson has it 3rd down and 3. And Phil Maffa in the backfield flanking Klubnik. Would be about a 54-yard field goal attempt from here. Here's Klubnik. Had a crease and is bent backwards awkwardly. Alex Huntley and TJ Sanders. It isn't up for a 1st down.
So Klubnik had a couple options. Number one, he had the option to go out wide. Wasn't available, and so they ran this play, essentially a quarterback power play, not to your running back, but to your QB. And so great job lowering your shoulder by Klubnik. Now this is shot zone. You're in that high red zone. Opportunity to take a shot to the end zone.
Not sure where his left leg went in that tackle, but he appears to be okay. Wesco in motion. Klubnik fell down, and what was going to be a trick play, it is blown up. Maffa, loss of 6. Klubnik nearly fell down, receiving the snap under center.
And this is going to be a shot. We talked about it. It was going to be a handoff back to Wesco. It was going to pitch it back to Klubnik. But it looked as if Maffa was down, which is fortunate for Clemson because that was the turnover that South Carolina needed.
Clemson shoved out of field goal range. 2nd down and 16. Gamecock defense in search of a big play. And this play was blown dead.
Prior to the snap, replay initiate a review of the previous play.
Well, the buzz down came late, much to the dismay of Dabo Swinney. What appeared to be a big gain. And instead, replay review coming. ESPN College Football presented by Tyson Brand, a part of Fairfield by Marriott Rivalry Week. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. An extended review occurring. And I do want to bring in our rules analyst, Matt Austin, because it appeared as if Phil Maffa was down initially and the ball was whistled dead after Klubnik was tripped up on receiving the snap. Matt, what did you see here?
After video review, it's a backwards pass that was never secured by the running back. Therefore, it's a recovery by the defense. 1st down, South Carolina.
Maffa never with firm control. A clear and obvious review by the booth and Mitch Wilkins. And just the 3rd lost fumble all year for the Clemson offense. Taka Hemingway comes in clutch.
Yeah, an unforced error. So, yes, Phil Maffa was down, but he did not have firm control of the football. And so as we're looking and saying, okay, he's trying to pitch it back. No, that's a backwards pass, essentially a fumble, because there's no control. But remember we talked about
Matt,
the turnovers in this game are going to be critical.
Matt, is that how you saw it?
I originally thought he had firm control, but that last view from behind the defense, it did look like he just had the tip of the ball in one hand as he tried to push it backwards. So I think that's a good overturn.
Attaway on 1st down for South Carolina, racing towards midfield, a gain of 7, and momentum back on the side of the Gamecocks.
And remember what we said earlier, Roy? Stay calm. No need to panic, no need to hurry. This game is a game of sometimes how does the ball bounce? And so South Carolina gets the ball back right around midfield. The run game's working. Lenore Sellers is working as well. So continue just to stick to the game plan. Run the ball and take your shots when available.
From the 47, Sellers, play action and nearly intercepted. Was batted down inside. And it was R.J. Mickens forcing 3rd down and 3. That could have been disastrous.
Yeah, I don't know if batted down is the right word. This is a dropped interception. R.J. Mickens has it right in between his paws. No pun intended. And he drops the pick. Oftentimes we say that bad things happen after missed picks in defense. So let's see if a bad thing happens for the D.
Brown goes in motion on 3rd and 3. Pocket collapsing. Sellers escapes again. There he goes, Lenore Sellers. 1st down by about half a yard. He slides in safely in Clemson territory. Another unreal run by the South Carolina quarterback.
Yeah, unreal is the best way to put it, but it just becomes so natural. All that we see is Lenore Sellers doing the impossible, the improbable, the unlikely, making something out of nothing.
Attaway, inside give. Barrett Carter brought him down, and a gain of 1.
Talk about bad things happening. I play defense in college and the NFL. Anytime you have a dropped interception, usually the next play isn't very good. So from a defensive perspective, have to make those plays. From an offensive perspective, Lenore Sellers is cooking.
Should have lost 15 yards on 3rd and 3. Instead, he picks up 4. 2nd and 9. Fake it to Attaway. Sellers. Here he goes again. Penalty marker comes in. Sellers delivers low. And incomplete. And that marker in the area of holding.
Holding, offense, number 6. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Joshua Simon, Western Kentucky transfer. Crestwood High School here in South Carolina. The guilty party that time.
Sometimes when you're a blocker, it's hard to block for that long. And he's trying to slow down Sammy Brown, the outstanding freshman. As a tight end, it's difficult to stay in protection when your quarterback is holding the ball and patting the ball as long as Sellers does.
2nd penalty on the Gamecocks. 2nd and 19. More pressure. Sellers eludes it. The blitz from the safety. And delivers out of bounds and incomplete. Bennett, the intended receiver. Shelton Lewis had a clean shot. Houdini in the backfield. Lenore Sellers. Will be 3rd and 19.
Yeah, and if I'm Clemson, Roy, I'm actually not bringing pressure in this situation. We've seen a lot of 6-man pressures, 5-man pressures, and they haven't been able to bring down Lenore Sellers. So if I'm Clemson defensively, I'm rushing 3, I'm dropping 8, and I'm forcing Sellers to fit the ball in a tight window.
Sellers, the crosser. Simon gets back close to the original line of scrimmage. Barry Carter, a tackle, and here comes 2 late penalty flags. Now the Gamecocks with 1st and 10 near midfield, moving backwards after the holding call on Shane Beamer. Dabo Sweeney, 2 good friends in the offseason.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 76. 15-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Torricelli Simpkins III, one of the leaders for this offense. And a bit too much here
Correct. The play's over. He's coming in with an unnecessary hit. Talk about that passion, energy, excitement, the juice. It has to be during the play, not after the play.
Denhoff was shoved down. Ty Kroger back on the field. Antonio Williams back deep to receive. 4th and Columbia for Carolina. Gives us a moment. Check in with Matt Berry back in the studio. Matt.
Yeah, Roy, Philpott, something developing in Columbus between Michigan and Ohio State. It is still 10-10 in the third. Will Howard throws his 2nd interception of the day, his first multi-interception game of the season. We're still tied at 10.
What a development there at the Horseshoe, a tie game. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Fantastic atmosphere on display today between these two emerging teams, and upstart South Carolina trying to sneak into the playoff. Clemson also trying to do the same thing this afternoon. It's not a play-in game, but it certainly has felt like that at times. And when you think about the chaos last weekend, perhaps a path for both programs with the win today. Tigers get it back after the punt of 41. Play action, Klubnik, the pump fake, and across the middle. Incomplete. Brenningstool. 2 flags fly. DQ Smith leading his case.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. The ball he placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Junior from Columbia, Spring Valley High School.
Talk about playing that tight coverage on Brenningstool, but right now, DQ, you cannot have it your way. You can't be pulling someone before the ball gets to the quarterback or to the receiver. And so, yes, play tight coverage, but you have to play clean football.
Gamecocks 3 penalties in their last 4 plays after a very clean start. Here's Klubnik again. Williams wide open. Came back for it. And lassoed down to the 38 by Kilgore. So again, Clemson short passing game. Tigers have gotten cute at times in this rivalry. You go back 2 years ago here, some special teams miscues. Try to trick play a little bit on a return. Didn't work out, and we saw first turnover of the game by the Tigers on their last possession. What appeared to be a reverse or some sort of flea flicker developing.
We've also seen patience in this second half. 5 runs, 6 passes on the last drive. There's balance.
Bill Maffa straight ahead. It was 2 years ago. South Carolina eliminated 2 teams from playoff contention late. Tennessee and Clemson back in 2022. A late season surge. Spencer Rattler. That stopped a 40-game home winning streak for Clemson that November afternoon. 3rd down and 1. Steady dose of Phil Maffa. One of the rocks of this Clemson offense, according to Garrett Riley. 2nd year after coming in from TCU. Maffa straight ahead. Didn't need much. He'll push the pile across the 45, and Alex Huntley stopped him. It'll be 1st and 10 as we take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Capital One. We've got games going on all across the country. That thriller last night in Athens, Michigan and Ohio State, and Tennessee being tested on the road in Nashville.
Correct, and I love that 8 overtimes, right? That's not a typo. 8 OT next to that Georgia Tech game. Unbelievable win for Georgia. And these other rivalry games, Ohio State, Michigan, big time.
Klubnik on 1st down, going to be gobbled up and driven down. Bam Martin Scott, and a loss of 10.
Great job by Martin Scott winning on the inside. He beats Ryan Linthicum at center. Linthicum's going to look to the left, and then they're going to get beat. That's actually Harris Sewell at guard. So great job from the back end, blitzing and winning your one-on-one.
Georgia Tech game last night, it felt like it was decided on penalty kicks. It got so random late. down at Sanford Stadium. Maffa got a block from Klubnik. And he gets down to the 40 in what should be the final play of our third quarter. 15 minutes to go, 14-7. 12th ranked Clemson leading 15th ranked South Carolina. Welcome you back to Death Valley in our fourth quarter. Right after this.
Back in Clemson with Coach Sweeney. Coach, some momentum changes so far in this half. What's going to make the difference in the final quarter?
Well, we got to finish a couple of these drives. Had a really tough reversal on a call down there, and tough break right there. But we just got to finish a couple of drives. We're moving the ball. But hey, our defense is playing great, so we just got to hold up. I mean, this is championship football, so it comes down to the fourth quarter the way it should.
Love it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Taylor, thank you. The start of our fourth quarter, 3rd down and 17. And Dylan Stewart jumping across. There was some movement on both sides. Shane Beamer out near the 35-yard line, pleading the case for his defense.
False start. Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So wide receiver TJ Moore, freshman.
Correct. Moore moved on the outside, so Stewart's movement didn't matter. Moore was rolling off the football. No one else on the offense was moving. Freshman mistake. Not too costly, because 3rd and 17, it's not necessarily a throwaway play, but a hard play to obtain. So not a too costly of a mistake, but now you got to protect even more if you're the front for Clemson.
Clemson 4-4 on 3rd down in the second half. They need 22 here. Klubnik steps up and across the middle. Maffa's going to get back to the 45. Knight stopped him after a gain of 10. So the South Carolina defense with a big stand, they'll get it back in the freshman Lenora Sellers. And Sam, you just get the sense
15 is now 57.
14 points probably not going to be enough to win a rivalry game like this. Just underway in our fourth quarter, and the big plays we've seen so far have been on defense. Who can step up and make that big play offensively for either side? Punt of 42, nothing on the return. We've got a big ACC game coming up next.
Hi, Roy. Welcome to the Dome, where warm-ups are underway for what should be a quarterback clinic today. Miami's Cam Ward already holds the single-season passing record for Miami, and he is locked in and loaded and ready to go today. Head coach Mario Cristobal told me they don't deal in hypotheticals. I had several players that said Clemson has not come out of our mouths this week, and that's because they have one mission: win, and they're in. That's it. On the other side, for Syracuse, how about Kyle McCord? Confident, ready to go. So much energy during warm-ups from this Syracuse team. And head coach Fran Brown said, guess what? Miami has to come into our house. All the pressure is on them. I told my guys, let's just go have some fun today. Back to you in Clemson.
God, thank you. A big game with playoff ramifications as the Gamecocks get it back. Nick Harbor shoved out by Khalil Barnes. It's a gain of 26, and the Gamecocks on the move.
Yeah, Nick Harbor is 6'5", 235, but what's more important is the pocket piece. There's not too much pressure, so Harbor has time to run a deep crossing route. So that offensive line for South Carolina is providing time for their quarterback to see the field.
Clemson in need of a Syracuse upset victory over Miami to punch its ticket to the ACC championship next weekend. Sellers to the edge and is spun down out of bounds by Jaden Lucas. Gain of nearly 4, and those ACC tilts coming up quickly. Miami-Syracuse Canes are in with the win up at the JMA Wireless Dome. Cal and SMU, the Mustangs, with a victory. Their percentages to get into the new 12-team field skyrocket. They get it over Cal.
Yeah, Miami is in if they win, but they are out if they lose. Clemson, win or lose, they will be in if Miami loses. So a lot of pressure on Miami in that matchup.
2nd down and 6. Rocket Sanders held in check recently. Until now, he rumbles into Clemson territory. 10 off the tackle, a gain of 10.
And as much, Roy, as this game has felt like big plays by Clemson and 2 forced turnovers by Clemson, South Carolina is 1 big play away from it being a 14-14 game and the whole chemistry of the game feeling different. So if you're South Carolina, you know, don't press. Just make the plays you've been making all season long.
6 plays of 20 yards or longer so far for the Gamecocks. Sellers back on the ground and another first down. Tripped up at the 32 by Mickens, a gain of 14.
That's the second quarterback power type play that we've seen on this drive. They're getting the ball into their best player's hands. Lenore Sellers takes that quick glance and then he follows his guard down the field. Those plays are getting 10, 12 yards a pop, so if I'm Dow Loggins, offensive coordinator, I would go back to it sooner than later.
73 yards rushing today for Sellers. Rocket Sanders kept the legs moving, driving his way for a gain of 5. Coming up Tuesday, we'll have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese Davis, the guys break them down from top to bottom, coaches' reactions, and a live interview with committee chairman Ward Manuel, the Michigan athletic director. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Will Clemson or South Carolina be a part of those top 12 or top 11? Attaway back on the field for the Gamecocks. Sellers again. Go back to the well one more time. And Lenore Sellers bullies his way to the 15.
And I don't want to give away too much, but I was with Dow Loggins when I was in Chicago. He's the offensive coordinator, you know, for guys like Mitch Trubisky, Jay Cutler. If a play is working, he is going to go back to it. Now you're seeing Rocket Sanders, number 5. He hopped off the field, leg injury. We're not sure exactly what's going on, but we are sure that the running game from the quarterback has been effective this series. Dow Loggins is unafraid to go back to it. 3 straight times we've seen it in quarterback runs.
And 5 straight runs after the long completion to start the drive. Sellers again. Well, they found something into the boundary. And he's going to be taken out by R.J. Mickens with a flag on the field. And it came in very late.
After the play, personal foul, late head out of bounds, offense, number 76. The 15-yard penalty from the succeeding spot. The down counts, 2nd down.
That's a second 15-yard penalty called on the starting right guard, the 5th-year senior from Charlotte, Torricelli Simpkins.
Second late hit by Simpkins, and these are plays that are costly for your team. I get it, play until the echo of the whistle, but guy you're blocking is out of bounds. You know you're getting a lot of momentum. You don't need to be that extra. So Simpkins is the leader, but sometimes leaders don't need to do too much.
2nd and 22. Here's Sellers across the middle. Intercepted at the 10. Khalil Barnes broke on the football. Clemson gets it back. Sam, it was his scoop and score a year ago in Columbia. That was the difference. A big one here.
Well, he switched his number to number 7 because he loves guys like Tyrann Mathieu, Honey Badger, fighting the football. Khalil Barnes making plays for his team.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN, Aracas Death Valley. This Saturday afternoon, Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Clemson defense with 3 takeaways and conversations taking place on the Carolina sideline. Lenore Sellers, the defense has been the story. And Sam, I stand corrected. I originally suggested 14, not enough to win a game like this. It may be with what we've seen from both sides defensively. Maffa bangs his way ahead across the 10. That last play in the interception by Barnes, what did you see?
Well, I saw Khalil Barnes undercut the route. So Nick Harper runs a corner route, and Barnes just simply undercuts it. there's some frustration from quarterback to receiver. Maybe the route was supposed to be different. But what I saw from Barnes was his eyes on the quarterback, ball goes where it's supposed to go, and he says, that ball is mine.
After a gain of 4, we'll set up the tunnel screen. TJ Moore. Stopped by Tonka Hemingway. A gain of 4 more as we are under 10 minutes to go.
And Clemson so far this half, not necessarily the whole game, but this half, has stayed on schedule. We're seeing a lot of 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 1s. It makes it so easy on an offense and hard on a defense. They're 4 for 5 on 3rd downs this half.
2 for 7 the first 30 minutes. A different story in the second half so far. Gamecocks trying to force a 3-and-out after the interception. Klubnik slanted incomplete. Wesco unable to catch up to it. That was the fastball from Klubnik.
Yeah, could have used a changeup or a curveball there. Didn't need the fastball. Bryant Wesco Jr. was wide open. That's a slant play that they've worked not only all season but all game. It's been open. Second time we've seen Klubnik
15 is now number 57 for South Carolina.
Critical mistake by Klubnik because now the ball's back into the defense's hands to stop.
Good field position coming for South Carolina. Juju McDowell back deep to receive. On 4th and 2. Swanson. And McDowell at the Gamecock 44. Norris Sellers back on the field when we come back, trailing by touchdown.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tyson Brand. Always been Tyson. And in part by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Be a 2%er. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply.
Now the mighty sound of the Southeast Carolina band making their way to New York City in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. 11:13 Eastern, represented on Thanksgiving Day and making the trek here to Death Valley to support the team from Columbia and the SEC. Quite a journey, and representing the state and the university at a very high level. Gamecocks get it back, less than 10 to play, trailing by 7. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Playoff implications for both sides. Best starting field position of the game for South Carolina as Sanders gets stopped by Peter Woods after a gain of 4. Well, the mistakes have plagued Carolina so far. They got to find a way to just keep drives alive.
Yeah, and stop hurting themselves. There was a penalty that made it 2nd and 22 that forced the interception by Simpkins. Another penalty after the last series that changed field position. So don't beat yourself.
Sellers wants to run. Dancing across the line of scrimmage. Still on his feet. Dragging a Clemson defender. That was Lewis out of bounds. On 2nd and 6, a gain of 26.
He's not human, Roy. I mean, Peter Woods is right there. And there's nothing. R.J. Mickens is there. There's nothing. I mean, this guy just does the same thing over and over again. And the same thing is making defenders look silly.
Now over 100 yards rushing at $115. Sanders, stutter step, and a physical finish. Brought down between the 21 and 20 yard line by Capehart.
It's almost demoralizing for a defense when you know what's going to happen and you still can't stop it.
Time on the field for player injury.
Freshman left tackle. Slow to his feet. And we'll keep it right here. 8:01 remaining. 7-point game, 2nd down and 5. And Peter Woods explaining to the Clemson sideline what just transpired. And it was Sellers once again. Taylor, what are you hearing?
It kind of doesn't surprise me that was their first play, Roy, down here on the South Carolina sideline. Lenora Sellers was angry after that last interception. First time I've really seen him show emotion one way or the other. He was eager to get back out there for this drive.
Shane Beamer said he's so even-keeled, but a fierce competitor. Pressure, Sellers. Ran straight into the teeth of that blitz and still gets across the 20 to the 19. Peyton Page, a tackle. Bodies flying all over the place. It'll be third down.
That's that quarterback power, Roy, but this time to the other side. 3rd and 4. I'm expecting the ball to be in Sellers' hands. I wouldn't be afraid to run that same quarterback power, but the same way you ran it on the previous series.
With 2 downs to pick up the first. Shivers checks in at left tackle for the Gamecocks. A career day on the ground for Sellers already. This time through the air, it was tipped and nearly intercepted again. Double coverage. Barrett Carter got a fingertip on it. And Ashton Hampton also with a chance to intercept it, 23 in orange. It'll be 4th down if you're Shane Beamer. What are you thinking?
I'm still thinking keep the ball in the quarterback's hands. You could have ran power on that last play, get positive yards, and understand critical 4th down. But South Carolina has an opportunity to let Sellers do what Sellers does.
Play clock winding down. And here comes a flag. Delay of game.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
They couldn't hear. Sellers could not hear what was happening. Some confusion and a costly penalty.
And that's the second time that we've seen this crowd get involved into the game. Home field advantage does play a part, especially when the home fans have the electricity that they're bringing here.
4th and 9. Shane Beamer trots Alex Herrera out on the field. Analytics tell you go for it on 4th and 7 or less. So the field goal, the right decision by the numbers. Good year for Herrera. This attempt from 42. His career long of 46 on the way, and Herrera makes it a 4-point game. 14-10, less than 7 to go in Clemson.
Matt Berry in our college football studio, keeping you updated on Michigan, Ohio State. Davis Warren has a wide-open player from Michigan, but Jack Sawyer picks him off. It is still 10-10 at the shoe, late 4th quarter. Don't forget, big one in the ACC coming up next. Xavier Restrepo in Miami. If they beat Syracuse, they are in the ACC championship. That coming up in just over a half hour.
Matt, we cannot wait back here in Clemson, South Carolina. A 4-point game, 6:48 remaining. With Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis after the Gamecock field goal. Here's an onside kick. A collision, the ball's still rolling. And who recovered it? Herrera tapped it beautifully. South Carolina known for its tremendous special teams. And down to the bottom of the pile, no indication yet. Clemson has it.
Surprise onside, nearly executed to perfection. They got the look they wanted. The ball was available. It gets kicked around. You see the effort, the strain, the recovery by Jamal Anderson of Clemson.
Through a sea of orange humanity down on the turf, Shane Beamer rolled the dice. Still plenty of time remaining. Clemson sets up shop at its own 44. Sam, you knew it was coming at some point. You could hear the tone in Coach Beamer's voice this week We mentioned special teams, Beamer ball. Something was going to happen. Clemson was ready for it that time, but it was close. Here's Wesco. Lasso down out of bounds. Bakari Swain, the tackle, after a gain of 3.
Great tackle by Swain on the edge. There's nothing wrong with the way he tackled him. It's not a horse collar. It's just a violent physical tackle.
It's been a physical game today on both sides. Maffa on the field on 2nd down and 7. He'll get a carry. Ran into a Gamecock bear hug. 3rd down, TJ Sanders a tackle after a gain of 1.
So 3rd and 6, little under 6 minutes left in the game. Clemson has a 4-point lead. We haven't seen that quarterback run activated recently. Could be a great opportunity, not for the slant, the quarterback keeper.
Klubnik with 47 yards rushing. We'll wait for the play.
And they got one-on-one. They may be taking a shot down the field.
Play clock winding down. Klubnik gets it. There's the shot. It's Wesco. And the coverage by Swain was ample. And the Gamecocks force a Clemson punt right away after the onside kick.
Klubnik saw one-on-one coverage, so he trusted his receivers. But that was better job by the defense, understanding their situation. You know, as a defense, where am I weak? If I'm a corner and I'm man-to-man, like Swain was, he says, I know that they've taken a couple shots. So he plays his coverage to perfection with better awareness of what the offense is trying to do.
Sam, that drive lasted 1 minute and 26 seconds. Plenty of time remaining here. Kilgore back. Penalty marker comes in, and Swanson delivers it to the 20. So it was 4th and 6.
And it looked like that was offsides by South Carolina, which would make it 4th and 1 if that is the case.
And instead, false start.
Illegal formation, kicking team, 5 or more players in the backfield. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the kick. 1st down.
Gamecocks will get it at their own 25. A full complement of timeouts to work with.
So we talk oftentimes when it comes to pass protectors about crossing the center's hip or the snapper's hip. Notice the entire line. Not everyone is crossing the snapper's hip, and so that's where that illegal formation comes in. You have to have at least 5 on the line, and many of those linemen, their heads were not crossing the hip of the snapper.
Crunch time in Clemson. Sellers, screen. Sanders, Rocket Sanders taking off. Gain of 17 on 1st down, and the drive begins.
That's a perfect drive starter, screen plays. The reason why is that pass rushers get a chance to get upfield, number 1. Number 2, you get easy yards. The easy yards are important, but that number 1 piece means that all of a sudden these pass rushers might second guess how quick they get after the quarterback. So screens open up the pass game as well as give you easy yards.
Rocket Sanders stepped through the line of scrimmage, entered the South Carolina locker room back in August, knowing and understanding what it takes to win. It wasn't the kind of finish in Fayetteville for the Razorbacks that he wanted. He headed east, and he has been a big-time difference maker for the Gamecocks this season. And today now approaching 60 yards rushing. Splits out wide here. Quarterback power, Sellers upended. And on 2nd down, R.J. Mickens makes it 3rd and about 5. And this crowd back on its feet. pressure. Gamecocks block it initially. Sellers escapes to the edge, and a first down. Lenora Sellers rumbling his way to the 25.
He's not fair. Lenora Sellers is not fair. He's a cheat code. I mean, he should have been sacked again and again and again, and then as soon as he puts his head down to run, you know that you're not stopping him. I mean, Clemson knows that they can't stop him. So if I'm South Carolina, quarterback power again, pretend if you want to pass again, but let Sellers sell.
Off the slant, dangerous throw, it's caught. Close to another first down, it was Luke Doty. Spinning around the former Gamecock quarterback, checking it was Harbor that made the grab. And a timeout called.
Timeout. Clemson, their first of the half. Please reset the game clock to 30 seconds.
Don't forget, coming up 6:30 Eastern, the ACC Huddle Crew.
2-3-0.
We'll have highlights and breakdowns of all the afternoon games they get you ready for. Virginia Tech at 8 Eastern. Then after the game, a full post-game show to wrap up the night over on ACC Network and the ESPN app. So Nick Harbor, a little bit of atonement there for the interception that occurred previously in this fourth quarter. And the Gamecocks in business, 2nd and 2, in no hurry whatsoever, trailing by just 4.
Which is why it was a brilliant decision by Dabo Swinney to call that timeout right then, because Shane Beamer was going to let the clock run down in the 2-minute timeout and then just take his time to try to win the game and leave no more time for Clemson. That timeout allows Clemson the opportunity to try to get a stop, and if they don't, if for whatever reason South Carolina scores, it affords them more time to get an opportunity to get the ball back to win.
Here's Sanders with a crease. It was small, but on 2nd and 2, he did not need much. Barrett Carter made the tackle. That's enough for a South Carolina first down. And the Gamecocks content to allow this clock to reach the 2-minute timeout. What a finish here in Death Valley. The Gamecocks with 249 rushing yards. On the move when we come back.
Time now for the final 2 minutes, presented by Allstate.
Time for the final 2 minutes, presented by Allstate. Dabo Swinney, Shane Beamer, 2 good friends in the offseason. And they've both admitted to us this week, we're ready to beat each other's brains in. We understand the importance, what some are calling the most important game in the history of this rivalry. Gamecocks have it 1st and 10 in the red zone, trailing by 4. Here's Sanders, bottled up, driven down at the line. TJ Parker met him in the hole. 2nd down. With a win, Clemson has a 59% chance to reach the new 12-team college football playoff. For South Carolina, a comeback victory on the road. Their chances move to 39%. And it all comes down to this. Sellers, end zone, near the back corner. And ruled incomplete. Campbell, the intended target. Jaden Lucas in coverage. Gilman, Campbell remains down.
Perfect pass. Campbell's unable to complete the catch, the process of the catch.
Timeout on the field for a player injury.
Sam, that was awfully close.
It looks like in that process.
Check in with our rules expert, Matt Austin. Matt, what did you see way back there in the back corner?
Well, he is a receiver that's going to the ground to complete the catch, and to do so, you need to survive the ground. He had the ball, tucked it away, but when he hit the ground, you saw it roll away, so that's definitely an incomplete pass.
Great job on that, Austin. Talking about surviving the ground. When he gets up, the ball's not with him, and unfortunately, looks like he was injured in the process.
3rd down and 11 coming up, and 2 plays to try to get a 1st down or a touchdown. The comeback kids from Columbia. Remember what we saw just 2 weeks ago down at Williams-Brice late against Mizzou. Shovel pass, Rocket Sanders. Morris Sellers found a way. What about now? And the crowd back in it on 3rd and long.
One little thing that is a big deal is that incomplete pass stops the clock. So if there is a touchdown, Clemson has time.
Sellers, the freshman, who wants to be the hero. Movement! Simpkins and Kaysen Henry both jumped.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
7th penalty called against South Carolina. 3rd and 16. Time for Sellers. Eludes the pressure. There he goes. Lenora Sellers again to the end zone. He made it. South Carolina takes the lead. Jay Mickens remains down on the turf.
For a player injury.
How? Mickens helped up. Put any pressure on that left leg for a moment. Some 9,000 South Carolina fans made the trek up Interstate 26. Are quiet, but now no longer. 17-14.
This man may not have won Mr. Football in high school, but he's keeping receipts. Lenore Sellers is him. All game long, all season long, he has been putting the team on his back. 5-game winning streak coming into this game. Was injured earlier in the season, nearly beat LSU, got hurt late in that game. But he just sees the field, but not just the field, he sees and feels the pass rush. When the ball's in his hands, he is nearly impossible to stop.
Lenora Sellers becomes the first Power 4 conference quarterback this season to have over 150 rush yards and 150 passing yards in a game. And what a moment. All smiles on the Carolina sideline. He's accounted for 8 plays of 20 yards or more so far. Clemson with 2 timeouts remaining and just over a minute to go. Gamecocks in front for the first time. And after the touchback, we check in again with Matt Berry.
Roy Philpott, there is weird stuff happening all over the country in the noon window. This is the final play of the game. Duke, Wake Forest, Malik Murphy has time. Somehow Jordan Moore gets behind the Demon Deacons defense. It is a walk-off touchdown for Duke, 23-17. Also, Michigan just kicked the field goal. They're up 13-10 on Ohio State. And in 13 minutes, Kyle McCord and Syracuse, who, by the way, maybe Ohio State wishes they still had him today, take on Miami right here on ESPN.
Matt, thank you very much. Clemson gets the football back, trailing for the first time, 17-14. Nolan Hooser is long in the field goal department. 51 this year. That came at Pittsburgh. Brenningstool ahead to the 48. So the drive for the Tigers begins after a gain of 24 on first.
Notice the piece on that pass. Not overthrown. He had an opportunity to Brenningstool earlier. This time, there's calm.
Klubnik again delivers a strike and another first down. TJ Moore and a gain of 12.
One thing to be alert for. One thing to be alert for, if you're South Carolina, sorry about that, Roy, is those pass rushers. Start getting in this mode of go, go, go. Those pass rushers can make plays.
Klubnik wants to run. Klubnik close to another first down, and Clemson just like that in field goal range. Gain of 10 and another chain mover. 38 seconds to go. Drama in Death Valley. Brenningstool again. Stopped at the 23 by DQ Smith. 5-yard gain and the first timeout called in this possession. One remaining.
Their second of the half.
So 2 things to think about. South Carolina knows that Clemson is in field goal range. So if you're South Carolina, any opportunity to get the ball, you take. So plays like that, Brenningstool's held up, try and pull that ball out. On the Clemson side of things, you know you're in field goal range, but you don't want a field goal to tie it. You want to go and win it. So you have a timeout left, so you can take a few shots at the end zone, or you can get a first down because you know the clock is going to stop on a first down, and then take your shots to the end zone. So 2 different mentalities. South Carolina, get that ball out. Clemson, go win it.
Hooser has been solid this year, the freshman from North Carolina. The issue has been at times the blocking for Clemson's kicker. And from here would be about 40 or 41-yard attempt. 27 seconds to go. Nolan Hooser staying loose on the sideline. Klubnik tapped at the line of scrimmage, batted down. Had a man breaking free. Dylan Stewart haven't called his name a bunch today. Freshman defensive end. 3rd down and 4. What a moment. What an opportunity for both sides to try to seal the deal.
And it may not be designed, Roy, but we've been talking all season long about quarterbacks and their legs. It's going to be a time, maybe not a design QB run. If nothing's available, use it.
He's going to take off right up the gut. And on 3rd and 4, let's see. Should be enough to move the chains. The initial indication. It is a first down, 17 seconds to go. And Klubnik clocked the football. Still a timeout to work with. Potentially the middle of the field is available with that timeout. But you mentioned it. If you're Dabo Swinney and Clemson, you're thinking about a touchdown here.
I am. I'm thinking to Brian Wesco Jr. I'm thinking to TJ Moore. I'm thinking to my outstanding freshmen on the outside. I think you take one shot to them. They've been effective. See if you can win it that way.
Norris Sellers, a career afternoon, trying to write his name into the lore of this rivalry. Front and center. 2 plays before a potential field goal attempt. Klubnik buys some time. It wasn't picked off. Was it intercepted? It was. Knight picked it up. Off the fingertips of Maffa. Knight the interception and the hero for Carolina.
Rolling on the field, interception by the defense. First down, South Carolina.
To be, Roy. It had to be Demetrius Knight, the leader of this team, the leader of this defense, the guy who's been putting the team and the defense on his back. Unbelievable job. Going to see a tip pass, but Knight gets his hands underneath, keeps the ball from hitting the ground, and that's what leaders do. You may not do all the talking, but when the plays are available to be made, you make them. Unbelievable job by Demetrius Knight, the leader of the Gamecocks.
Clayton White told us this week he's the old soul of this defense. He's married, has a family, and he just made the play of his life for South Carolina. The Gamecocks find a way on the road, 17-14 the final. What a scene, what a comeback. Taylor Davis with Coach Beamer.
An emotional Coach Beamer, and rightfully so. Coach, so much was on the line in this game. It truly came down to the wire. And that means so much to both programs. What kind of grit did you see from your team today?
That's who we are. Sorry. I'm so happy for these players that those seniors came back. I told those seniors on the last drive that on defense that that's why they came back for moments like this and really let them go right down the field. But to have Demetrius Knight come in and make that play on 4th down, the fight that our guys showed, I'm just so they deserve this.
They do, and so do you. All right, let's talk about the momentum swings that started early in this half. A few turnovers. I saw Lenora Sellers irritated on the sidelines. He went out and facilitated that comeback drive. What'd you see from your quarterback?
That kid's the best player in the country. And he might not have been in the Heisman conversation before today. If that guy's not in the Heisman Trophy conversation, I don't know who is. I saw somebody say that one of their players was the best player on the field before the game. That kid's the best player in the country. And I'm so happy for him. We tried to screw it up, but we talked at the hotel. We talked at the hotel before we came over that we had to have each other's backs, and we did. The defense goes out there and gets a stop. We do the onside kick. We don't get it. This is the best player in the country. This is a special rivalry. You can see our fans. Listen to them. Yeah. This is a special rivalry. Ton of respect for Dabo and his program. I hope, no disrespect to Miami, I hope Syracuse wins tonight and they can go win an ACC championship next week. But I'm so happy for our players and the belief. One of our players told me after that touchdown run, this guy's got something special inside of him, and he does.
He does, and we saw it today. Lenoris, you talked to me about controlling what you can control. A win over Clemson, you could control. What statement was made today?
Just shows you resilience between our team, the fight in our team. We're built for fourth quarter games. We knew it all season, and we showed it again today.
Incredible win. Go celebrate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
17-14 the final. Sam Acho, final thoughts.
6-game winning streak by South Carolina, making their case for the college football playoff, and Clemson still has an opportunity to go through the back door.
What a comeback, what a game. It was one for the ages as South Carolina finds a way. 17-14 for Sam Acho Taylor Davis. I'm Roy Philpott. Let's get you up to the JMA Wireless Dome right now.